Reach out, oh, with Ray and Steve. Reach out, with Ray and Steve. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the car. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. Play ball.
A pleasant good evening to you all, wherever you may be in this crazy world out there. And welcome to the Reach Out with Ray and Steve show. And man, is this a special show. We have rock stars, we have baseball stars, and we have Ray Negron and Steve Acaro. So let's bring on our host right now, Mr. Ray and Mr. Steve. Come on in, gentlemen.
All right, Roberto.
Robbie, welcome back, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
It's good to be back in our studio. I mean, we've been doing it from Steve's living room for the last couple of
You
weeks.
got something against my living room?
That was your living room.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
let's
nice.
not
You got
fool-
fed? You got-
Let's
you
not. I did get fed, but
Yeah.
you know what? The thing that bothers me about you,
My
and
living
going,
room?
no, it's not the living room.
Where you-
Every time I go to your house, I get rice and beans.
Oh,
I mean, yes, I am a Latino. I
Okay.
do like rice and beans.
Well-
but do you have to throw it to my face?
yeah, but you have second and third helpings. My wife
Well,
is
it is.
Dominican.
It
I mean,
is
come on
tasty.
now.
I mean, it is tasty. But Steve,
You-
you're
come
Italian.
Hey,
He's
boy.
Italian. Why can't I get some pasta bazool?
He gets fed every time.
No
He's complaining
pasta
about it.
bazool,
Oh,
Steve.
okay. Oh, now you
Hey boys, is that the community segment? You guys are helping one another?
No, let's get
Right,
let's
right,
get
right.
on with the community segment.
Well, anyway, welcome. This is Reach Out with Ray and Steve. We're here every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. and BronxNet from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. And you got to check your local listings for other cable networks that we're on. So we do have a community segment.
And let's go. Let's get our direct.
Hey everyone, Ray, Steve, thank you guys for having me on.
Yes.
So, this week in the community, as always, we've been in the Bronx. We've been going to Arthur Ave, Gino's Pastry Shop. We went to PS 55, and we went to the grounds outside of Yankee Stadium, where the old Yankee Stadium was. Now, this week for community, we went to PS 55. We handed out about hundreds of face masks from
That's
Hanes. And we gave it out to the students and everything,
Right.
and H21 hand
H21
sanitizers. We went thanks to Alfred, Gio, and Glaybar. And now I have a question for you two while I'm here. So, all the work that you guys have been doing in the community so far, what has been one of the best moments for you guys when you're out on the streets giving out to people?
Just the fact that the numbers are going down. The numbers are going down. And the more the numbers go down, that means that soon we will have our community back. Okay, and that's the key. And that's why everybody has to do their part to go, in essence, get the hand sanitizers out there, get the mask out there, get whatever we need to do, we need to do.
And you know, yeah, that's a great question, Carmine, because when we went to CS 55, their principal, Luis Torres, I mean, he was out on the street giving these things that you just mentioned, car to car. But you know what? Sometimes the Bronx gets a bad rap, right? So when you see different people coming together from all walks of life, helping each other, the parents, the students, us, the faculty of the schools, and then the community, I saw nothing but love. So when we're doing that, it's such a great thing to bring people together. And as Ray said, we want to get our world back.
No, 100%. And I couldn't agree more. Now, one final question before I leave. So, we've done a lot in the past. What are our goals moving forward in the community, and what are we trying to do moving forward?
We got to get up and start all over again. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. It isn't easy. Every day we get criticized for being out there. Sometimes I forget to put on my mask. or so. No, but I do get it back on. You got to wear your mask. That's important. Now we're wearing 2 masks. And as somebody said to me before, Lenny Randall, who Terry Whitfield knows well, and I love Lenny Randall, great baseball player, great community guy. But he said to me, Ray, you don't have to be out there every single day. You can take it easy. You know what I'm saying? And no, we can't take it easy. If we want, we didn't have to live this. The Bobby Rydells, the Chris Montez, Robbie, we didn't have this. We didn't have no pandemic. We were able to run in the streets of Philadelphia, in the streets out in LA and whatever, and do what we were supposed to do.
Right.
And our kids today, they don't have that. They have to sit at home. They have to be in the house.
Yeah,
I want them to have their life back.
And the unemployment rate's the highest it's ever been, over 20%. The homelessness is high. Mental illness rates are high. The suicide rate is high for young people and older people. So we feel that we should all be doing our part day to day, because if you miss a day, someone's going out with something. They're missing something. If we could bridge that gap. That's what it's all about. And not just the bridges. Sometimes, Ray said, you get criticized for some of the things that you do, but to put it out there, to show a picture, to show a video, to do something you're doing today, Carmine, to point it out, because it's not for us. It's to inspire and to empower others to do better than us and to do their part. If everybody did it each and every day, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now.
And let me just say, I emphasize this. Am I prejudiced? Yeah. I have to thank the Yankees. I have to thank the Yankees for being out there in the community. Am I partial to the Yankees? I always will be. But that's because they do the right thing, and they have been doing that right thing since the days of Babe Ruth, and since the day that George Steinbrenner took over the organization and said one of the first things we're going to do is help the community. Right. And that's the bottom line.
Right.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you guys so much for having me on. Thank you for taking me every Thursday throughout the pandemic. Even though all this has been going on, you guys continue each and every Thursday to go to the Bronx and still push forward and give back to the community.
Stop already! I want to see. I want to hear Bobby Rydell and Chris Montez.
All right.
This guy
You know that I want to hear about Terry Whitfield, man. And why did the Yankees? Why did the Yankees send him to the Giants? Why did the Giants send him to Japan? And why did Japan send him back to the Dodgers?
All right.
The Dodgers. That's where he ended up, Robbie Robinson.
Why are you so young already?
Because I get
we're
picked.
going. Carmine's doing a good thing
All right.
here.
Well, all right.
Well, let's finish up this segment. Thank you guys for
Thank
having
you,
me
sir.
on, and let's
Thank
wrap
you,
up
sir.
with the video. Thank you
right.
very much. Let's see what we've been doing this week in the community.
So, Louis, what's the story? We got all these boxes over here of what?
So the Hanes brand donated 180,000
180,000.
face masks to the school through the United Way.
There it is. Look how pretty it is.
It's like underwear for the face.
Hey, this is a family show now. Be easy with that. There's Steve holding on.
And all these boxes, Louis, amazing.
All these boxes, and then we also have hand sanitizer from
H21.
Yeah.
Nice.
And talk about how important it is to give back in such a big way.
Yeah, so one of the challenges that we have here in the community is getting access to the PPE equipment and things. So we were able to reach out to Hanes, get this material through the United Way, and then H21 came through. Ray made the connection with H21, and now we have H21 hand sanitizer, and now we're able to provide these materials to the community.
Well, I'm just so happy that Gio Urshela and Gleyber Torres have been so positive and so strong, and the Yankees are, they're always like out there doing their thing.
Yeah, when Gleyber and Gio came to the school, they made a promise that they would adopt our school and they would support us in all our initiatives, and this is something.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
And actually, they came through. So Gio and Gleyber are real people, and they care about our community, and they came through for us, and we appreciate them.
And starting with Babe Ruth, baby, Yankees are still there in the Bronx.
And they're instrumental with all the vaccinations, using it as a hub for the Bronx. Amazing.
We ain't going nowhere.
No, this is amazing work you're doing over here. I know it's a big challenge with the pandemic, but God bless your efforts for being like the warehouse for all these medical supplies.
Here, hold on. Get your hands out here. They're very dirty. Very dirty. Very dirty. Yeah. Very dirty. Very dirty. Hey, let's go. Here you go. See you guys later.
CS 55, Luis Torres. God bless, man.
55. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Dale esto a tu mamá. Okay? Dale esto a tu mamá.
Déjame
Okay.
aplauso a
Stay with your mask and your sanitizers. Here in the Bronx, we're doing everything we can. Okay.
What do you think, Robbie?
Bravo, you guys. And the Dodgers are doing their thing out here. I just saw last Friday night, they had a big Dodger Foundation telethon deal. They raised $1 million for the people in need in the LA area. So, Dodgers and baseball in general is doing, and we're excited, aren't we? Baseball has started, brothers.
That's right. That's right. We're right on the verge of seeing baseball again, and pitchers and catchers are there, and you can almost feel it, right? And you go to Tampa each and every year about this time.
Well, number one, I'm glad that the Yankees brought back Gardner.
Yes.
Brett Gardner, who was a great community guy. Yeah. And speaking of great, he's the same type of player as this guy that is here with us today, and his name is Terry Whitfield.
Oh,
yeah.
Talk a little bit about Terry? Terry Whitfield came up with the Yankees. He came as a rookie, and he was on. Check out this rookie card, if we could show that on the screen there. He's with Ed Armbrister, and who's that guy over there? Freddie Lynn.
Who's Fred Lynn?
And there's I don't know who Fred Lynn is, but Terry Whitfield is right there. But also, before we bring Terry on, he came out with a little pitching machine called the Terry Toss years back. Let's give a little glance at what that's all about.
Terry Toss.
Good.
There we go. There we go, Terry. Let's go.
Yeah.
So Terry, listen. Number one, I was telling Robbie this morning that when we traded you to the San Francisco Giants, that spring training of 1977, you was wearing number 44.
Oh.
Right.
And then you gave number 44 to Mr. Reginald Martinez Jackson. Okay.
Well,
So do we give you the credit for that?
Well, Ray, you and I know that the jersey that he hit the 3 home runs in had my name on the bottom, right?
Very
Wow.
true.
So thanks to you, I have that.
That's true.
And one time I ran into him. I said, "You know, and I know, I have it." So he would never admit it.
Robbie, very true. I mean, it had
Wow.
it was a Reggie shirt, and because of the size and all that, Reggie can become very superstitious.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't want to change it, and that's what happened. And I had to give it back to his rightful owner.
I appreciate that.
That's
I
right.
appreciate that.
So Terry, you came up, in '74. You played with the Yankees, right? And George Steinbrenner just bought the Yankees in '73. You guys played a couple years at Shea Stadium. How was it coming up with the Yankees back then?
Wow. It was great because once George took over, we got everything was new. New uniforms, new hats. I mean, the pride that we had back then, having a new owner, knowing that there's money behind us. We had one spring training. We had so many good ball players. They had to separate us, and a lot of us went on to other teams and organizations and did well. But George have been nothing but great to me. You hear all these stories about some of the players that don't like him, or he gets into these scrabbles with them. Never with me. I'm very, very blessed.
Wow. And now 60 Minutes did a special that spring. Do you remember that? They shot a special.
Yeah, they had one. Yeah, they had some cameras following us.
Yeah, they actually came into the hotel room. And because they were just announcing the trade, and 60 Minutes had gotten a scoop on it, so they came with the cameras into the hotel room, and it was like I don't know what the hell I was doing sleeping in your room, but that's where I ended up that night. And all of a sudden, 60 Minutes had their cameras on top of us.
Yeah, that was a memorable day for me. coming back to California and playing for the Giants. But my heart was set on staying with the Yankees, because once you are in one organization, you come up through the ranks. You always wanted to be able to stay there. But, life goes on. And I came out to San Francisco. I had a good time. I enjoyed myself. And
And you never
here
left.
I am still today in the Bay Area.
Unbelievable.
That's great. So tell us about Ray back in the day. Did you guys bond together? I mean, did you hang out together?
Well, I won't go into a lot of the stories.
Yeah, it's a family show there, Terry. It's a little setup.
No, Ray was really a good friend and has been good all these years. And we had did a lot of things together, and I never forget that. So he kind of showed me around New York a little bit when I came up to the major leagues.
So you played at some iconic ballparks, Yankee Stadium and Candlestick, right, before you went to LA.
Right.
How was it playing in Candlestick?
The thing about it is, once you come to Candlestick, it's very cold, and mentally it can mess you up. But once you start playing there, you get used to it. And I remember McCovey always told me and said, "Look, they have to perform the same way you have to. You have to be mental tough. And some of those balls you might hit really hard, but some of those balls you hit and the wind would take it, and you don't know what's going to happen." So I was very fortunate. My home ballpark in Candlestick, I think my career average was over 300 there.
Hey, how was it with Willie Mays?
Willie Mays, you can ask for the greatest guy who ever played the game. He's still kicking, and I had an opportunity to take my son to visit him. When I told my son, I said, "Look, no autographs. We're going to stay for 1 hour." 4.5 hours later, we keep on talking. I'm telling you, he has a lot of wealth of knowledge, and I was happy that my son got a chance to be in the same room and be able to pick up some of the things that he was talking about.
Now,
Barry, I have a quick question
ahead.
for you. By the way,
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
an honor to meet you.
Nice to meet
I
you.
was looking at your baseball card, brother. 281 lifetime average.
Well, that was a hard 281 because most of the time, when I played, I basically ended up being more of a pinch hitter and a part-time player. But when I played every day, I was over 300.
Fantastic.
So, I've been blessed.
So who was you played with Willie, you said. Was Willie the best baseball player you ever saw?
Wait, Willie McCovey, not Willie Mays.
No, I meant Willie
Yeah.
Mays.
No, Willie Mays is he's always been around
That's
the
right.
Giants.
Of course.
He retired a couple of years before I came into the game. But Willie McCovey, I was able to play with him. And what a guy, man.
hit the ball, huh? Willie
Yeah, he can. He used to teach me how to set up pitchers, and it's one of those things where the older guys always passing down the knowledge at the end of their career, and it really helped me to be able to perform in the Candlestick.
What about? I was going to say, what about the rivalry between you guys and your boys, Robbie Robinson's boys, the LA Dodgers? How was that from that side, from the Giants side, Terry?
The thing about it, Ray, in 78, we thought we were going to go all the way. We had a very good shot. We started off really quick. And then at the end, Spec Richardson started making all these trades, and, the combination of camaraderie kind of failed there. But when you play play against the Dodgers as a Giant, you get up so high because you want to beat them so bad. And a lot of times, I think we overdid things because of that. But that's just the way it was. Now, being on the flip side of it, being with the Dodgers, oh my goodness!
That's looking
going
good.
to Vero Beach and having that mess hall and having everybody there, and you have the fair. You have a little fair as a team, and I mean, the closest there was really unbelievable. Right. But having Tom Lasorda as a manager, he always kept things happy. He always go into the clubhouse, and there's always somebody joking around or having some fun, just to break the monotony.
Well, tell us about Tommy, because we just lost him, obviously, and It was a sad loss for everybody in Dodger Town. Tell us about Tommy.
I tell you, Tommy was one of the greatest mind funny guy that you ever want to be around. He can meet you today, talk to you for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and 10 years later, not see you, and then see you for the first time, and he know you. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Him and Joe DiMaggio was the same. They can talk to you and recall different moments in their lives that they met certain people. It's really incredible.
Wow.
He's always kept the team loose. He was one of the greatest motivator that you ever want to be around. But after a while, it get kind of boring. But when you first around him, it was incredible.
Now, before you went to the Dodgers, you played overseas. How was that experience over there?
I tell you, that helped me out to be the man, the coach that I am today. They told me I didn't know how to hit. So I said, okay, I don't know how to hit. So they taught me certain methods that I didn't know about. I was always a good hitter. You can throw a ball or bounce the ball at home plate, I was able to hit. But knowing what my body and how it works together as a unit, I was really taught that over there. I'm telling you, if I was over here with the knowledge that I got over there at a young age, I'm no telling how many home runs I would have hit.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are you doing these days with the Giants? And how? I know you're around baseball. We saw you pitching machine. So you're always around people, and it looks like you're helping others all the time.
Yes. Well, I teach youngsters. I'm semi-retired. I work with a lot of young kids. Jimmy Rollins was one of my kids I worked with, Eric Goodell and Tyler Goodell and several others that had made it to the major leagues. So I just do a lot of things, just trying to help the community and work with young kids to get them to where they should be.
Unbelievable.
And speaking about young kids, I mean, the pandemic has hit everybody hard, so we hope you're healthy and safe. How has it hurt some of the young people playing baseball, want to play baseball, but are challenged by this COVID-19?
I'm telling you right now, it's sending a lot of youngsters back. I can see it already with some of these youngsters, especially my son who was going to try and go and play in the minor leagues. And unfortunately, all this happened at the wrong time. The guys who played last year or been playing are going to benefit the most. But the guys who only play a little bit but didn't have opportunity to hit the ball or anything like that, they're going to be lost, especially in college. It's going to be unbelievable. But hopefully in time, everybody's going to catch up.
That's right.
Well, Terry, thank you, brother, for coming on, and we appreciate it. And
No problem.
a lot of people who remember you in New York, and for those that don't remember you, this is a guy who did a lot in baseball. He's still doing a lot in baseball, and one of the best people that you will ever meet. He was a very bad influence on me because I was the Yankee bad boy,
right.
and all he wanted to do was chase. He was bachelor, chase all the women in New York, and he taught me some very bad things. Very bad things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Terry, we have a midnight show. We'll get you back on. We can tell all the stories that Ray has. Okay.
All right.
God bless, man. God bless.
Hey, you're looking good, dude.
Thank you, Terry. You
God bless
too,
you.
brother. Take
All
care of
right.
yourself.
All right. Bye
All
bye.
right. Wow, Terry Whitfield. I mean, it's amazing because you bring back people that you really connected with in those early Yankee days.
No, it was fun times. To be the Yankee bad boy during that era was incredible. And I remember how Steinbrenner, when he traded Terry, he felt very bad because he knew that Terry loved being a Yankee. Terry, more than anything, wanted to grow through the system and just be great, and he did. He was probably our number one prospect.
Right.
But then he was able to get some. I don't remember who it was, but a really good pitcher or something. I don't remember what happened, but I remember George feeling very sad and.
He was a big prospect. We put that baseball card back up with the rookies because he went. Hold up. Go ahead.
I found, oh, wow, look at that.
Freddie Lynn, I mean, to be Ed Armbrister, I mean, those are class acts, and they had a great
Tom
impact
Poquette,
on baseball. And Tom
Yeah.
Poquette, definitely. To be in that
Group
is unbelievable.
Well, I found two things out of that interview tonight. Number one is Terry was saying the same thing that we hear over and over and over from every baseball player that has been touched by George Steinbrenner. George Steinbrenner is the best. They all love him beyond, what you might read in the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I found out from Terry, and I'm not very happy about this, is that stinking jersey that your guy was wearing when he hit those 3 home runs against us in the Dodgers in 1977.
Hey,
I'd never given him that uniform.
hey, Robbie, this guy is gonna bring up all the Dodger haters there. Don't worry about it. We got more coming for you.
Hey,
Well-
I'll tell you one thing though. What we do have coming now, this year, you know who have the best odds to go to the World Series this year?
I saw your LA boys,
Dodgers and the Yankees. In
That's
the American
right.
League.
but the Padres are right up there. So you got to get through. You got to get. Oh, okay, all right. We'll see that.
Listen, well, bottom line is, I want to get on to the music, Robbie.
Yeah, we got a doubleheader right here. What's
We
going on
did.
here, Robbie?
2 All-Stars, too.
right.
2 All-Stars.
Why don't you bring them on?
Okay, well, I guess we should start with the guy who has a high school named after him.
Okay.
And a high school that I think most people are aware of this high school. This guy is a rock star legend. Hit records coming out of his ears. One of the all-time greats. One of my heroes, Bobby Rydell. Come on in.
All right, Bobby.
How you doing, guys?
Unbelievable. Welcome to
Can
the
I-
show, sir.
Well, thank you ever so much, and may I preface this when I'm sick and tired of hearing about the New York Yankees.
How'd you wear an Eagles hat?
Man,
I'm a Philadelphia guy. What about the Whiz Kids?
Oh,
What
okay.
about Granny Hander and Willie Puddinhead Jones and Stan Lepata
Right.
and Richie Ashburn. I'm sick of the Yankees. My father hated the Yankees.
Hey, Robbie, didn't anybody tell you this is the Yankee show, huh?
Excuse me?
Didn't anybody tell you this is the
No,
Yankee
man.
show?
I didn't know what the hell I was doing, to tell you the truth. Robbie called me up. He said, Ray's going to be there, and Chris Montez, and now I hear everything, about the New York Yankees.
well, Bobby, the bottom line is, you when people saw you on Bye Bye Birdie, it was like, Bye Bye Birdie would not have been the same without you. Am I
no.
off? No, that's the truth. That's the
right.
truth.
Oh yeah, no.
When you was walking on that rafter to punch what's his name in the face, okay? I was like, everybody was. Hey, you had every Puerto Rican kid in the Bronx and in Brooklyn like saying, "Go get him, go get him." I said it was beautiful.
Yeah, that was kind of like my West Side Story scene, No, well, yeah, Ray, there were a lot of great people in that movie,
Yes.
What a cast we had, Dick Van Dyke and Janet Leigh, Maureen
Oh, no,
Stapleton,
it's going to be over by then.
and of course,
Can you wait
And
on 4
Margaret.
minutes?
and what a great director, George Sidney. We had a great director. I was just happy to be part of that motion picture.
Well, a friend of mine was recently working with Anne Margaret. She was doing a movie up in Massachusetts, and he's the makeup guy. His name is Scott, and Scott was working on her, and so me and Scott are like best friends. And so I'm talking to him, and he says to me, "I have Anne Margaret over here," and the first question I had for her was, "How was it working with Bobby Rydell?" And she
Come on.
and she had that that laugh of hers. Say, "Oh, it was beautiful." I mean, you have a friend there for life, from what I see.
Well, let me tell you something, Ray. We did that movie back in 1963, and to this day, we are still very, very dear friends. She calls me, I call her, and we have a wonderful time. She always calls me Mr. Ritterelli, and I call her, and I call her Kim, because she played Kim McAfee in the movie.
Right.
But she's a sweetheart, a very, very dear friend, and I love her dearly.
Hey, Bobby.
Yo.
I've got a friend of mine just called me who is also buddies with you, and he's from the band Tower of Power. You know that band?
Are you kidding? I go see them all the time.
They're a pretty good band, aren't they? Well, this guy is a songwriting partner of mine, and he's on the phone with us right now, Doc Kupka.
Oh, how you doing, Doc?
Good, Bobby. How are you? It's good to hear your voice.
Can you guys hear that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, you guys actually have something in common, don't you? You and Doc.
I don't know. What do we have in common?
Well, you and his wife both have had some surgery.
Oh, that's correct. Yes, I was remiss about that. Yeah, I had a liver and a kidney transplant, right?
Wow.
And Doc's wife as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And thank God we're all doing well.
Thank God is right.
Well, Bobby, you've been around. You're great yourself, but you've been around the greats like Frank Sinatra. Talk about being around Frank Sinatra.
What a great picture. That was at the Copacabana. I was 19 years old at the time. He came into the Copa to see Joey Lewis, and Joey Lewis, of course, Mr. Sinatra made a movie about him called
Yes.
The Joker is Wild.
Joker's Wild.
And
Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. And after the show, Mr. Sinatra left. I went upstairs to say goodnight to Jules Padell, who was the boss of the Copa, and Mr. Sinatra come walking out through the kitchen doors. And I just said, I called him Uncle Julie. I said, Uncle Julie, all I want to do is shake his hand. And Jules Padell talked like this: "You want to meet Frank?" So he's sitting with Sammy Kahn, Jimmy Van Heusen, Richard Conte, Joe DiMaggio, and one old man. All right. And Podell says, "Frank, I want you to meet the kid." And Sinatra stood up. He said, he said, "How you doing, Robert?" Called me Robert. Wow. I said, fine, Mr. Sinatra. How are you? He says, "I'm just wonderful. Would you care to join us?" Well, Ray, Steve, Robbie, I sat there. In Italian, we call it like a Mama Luke. I didn't say 2 words. You know?
Yeah.
I was awestruck. I was awestruck. And
Right.
and Sinatra turned to me, and a couple of minutes later, he said, "Robert, what do you drink?" I said, "Coke." I figured if I said Scotch and water, I get smacked in the face. But he was absolutely wonderful. He was so endearing, not only to me, but to my dad and my first manager, Frankie Day, at the time. Something that, near and dear to me in my heart that I'll treasure forever. Of course, I started listening to Sinatra when I was like 10, 11 years old.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Bobby, I got number one. I got to tell you, you bring tears to my eyes because I love
Because
Mr.
of what I
Sinatra.
said about the Yankees?
that first, but also the incredible respect that you give Mr. Sinatra by saying, I still call him Mr. Sinatra, and
Absolutely.
and so you have been to the mountain, to the top of that mountain, and yet you realize that the mountain is even higher because there's something that was built for Mr. Sinatra. And,
That is for sure.
and the other great entertainer that taught me that we must always respect Mr. Sinatra is Frankie Valli. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
when I told Frankie one day, Frankie, you will always be my hero, and he said to me, what about Mr. Sinatra? You know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful, and I thank you for that, Bobby.
Thank you ever so much, Ray. Oh, Robbie, you were talking about Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
I'll tell you what,
And
before you do that, Bobby,
Yeah,
let
go.
me interrupt you. Doc
Sure.
has got to run, so he wants to say a quick bye.
Okay, Doc, take care.
Yeah, Bobby, thank you for what you mean to me as a fan, and thank you for talking up This Time It's Real. I saw it, and anyway, I hope to see you soon. And again,
I
thanks all.
certainly hope so. Yeah. When you guys come back to Philadelphia, I'll be there with bells on. You know that, Doc.
That's right, his song, This Time It's Real. That Doc wrote that song.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite tune. And when I was there, what was it? Oh, the Keswick Theater.
Right.
And you never played This Time It's Real. You did everything but This Time It's Real.
Doc.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you later, Doc. This is the
Wow.
great Doc Kupka from Tower of Power.
Wow.
Is he the best?
Awesome.
Is he the best? Is he the
That's
best?
right. This is Reach Out with Ray and Steve. We have the great Bobby Rydell on. Now, Bobby, you've also been around Dick Clark and Bobby Darin and Danny Thomas and a host of others. But talk about the early years when you got to meet some of these legends.
Oh, well, what can I tell you? At a very early age, my first hit record, I was 17 years old. And then at a very early age of 18, I was the youngest guy to ever work the Copacabana. and then did shows like the Red Skelton Show, the Jack Benny Show, the Milton Berle Show, the Perry Como Show. And, you know, at my first appearance in Las Vegas for 2 weeks at the Sahara Hotel was with George Burns.
Wow.
And what a treasure he was and always will be. And I remember, you know, I would do maybe 20 minutes, and then he would come out, and we do a soft shoe and sing together. And and the tune was Some of These Days, and he would sing it like, you know, Mr. Burns would sing it, some of these days, you're gonna miss me. And then I would do it like Darren, some of these days you're gonna miss me, baby. And then we go into a soft shoe, and it was precious. And I would, after I was done, I would come down stage every night in the wings, and I would watch Mr. Burns every night for 2 weeks to see how he delivered a line, his timing. He was precious. And to say, you know, the people that I have worked with that I mentioned just a little while ago, you could do nothing but learn from these people.
Right.
And what a great experience for a young guy such as me to be able to be in the presence of those super guys.
Wow. Well, but let me just say this before we move off of this, is that the day I saw you on Make Room for Daddy.
Yeah.
You know, with that, that was like one of my all-time favorite shows, because that was my favorite show at the time, Make Room for Daddy, and
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know, I'm sorry, go ahead, Greg.
No, you go.
Matter of fact, I go back with Mr. Thomas, you know, with St. Jude.
Yes.
And years when I was on the show, there was not a company or whatever the logo was. It was ALSAC, Aiding Leukemia-Stricken American Children.
Wow.
And he wanted me to be teenage chairman for ALSAC, and I was teenage chairman, and I traveled all over with Mr. Thomas to promote St. Jude and, you know, the cure for leukemia. You know, like I said earlier, what can you say about working with these giants of the business?
Now I gotta ask you this, because I'm a fan. Okay, I'm not ashamed. And
Thank you, Ray.
Get ready, Bobby.
No, but it's just that when you mention St. Jude's, and we do so much charity stuff, and I know that Elvis helped Danny Thomas on several occasions because of Memphis, the Memphis connection.
Okay.
And did you ever get to meet Elvis?
Never met him.
Wow.
Unreal.
One of the sorry points of my life and in my career, I never had the opportunity to meet Presley.
Wow, and you guys had so many intertwining scenarios, you know, and
Oh, yeah,
Mark,
for
you
sure.
know, all of that stuff. Plus, he recognized, because I'm an Elvis nut, and the one thing about that, when you did Bye Bye Birdie and stuff like that, he used to watch all these movies and all that. He was highly impressed by your performance in that. So I mean,
Was he really?
yes, he was.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
right?
because he
Wow.
as a matter of fact, if you ever get a chance, I mean, I've read this on several occasions, and I know that at one time it was Joe Esposito who worked for Elvis, and he actually did one of the blurbs in my first book, and we talked about that a little bit. He had mentioned that to Anne Margaret.
Oh, okay.
So-
We worked a lot together, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that I thought was so cool.
Well, before we bring out next superstar guest, we have a little clip back in time with Bobby Rydell. Let's check it out.
So here he is, ladies and gentlemen, to sing for the first time on television our theme song, You Got to Enjoy Joy, Bobby Rydell. You gotta enjoy joy. You gotta love love. You gotta put frown down and give it a shove. The world is a groovy, mad movie. As long as you swing, you're king. And life's a ring-a-ding thing. You gotta dig fun, son. Start.
Wow.
Wow, yeah. What a great tune. You know, Milton wrote that song. Mr. Burl wrote that.
Wow.
Music and lyrics.
Wow.
Music and lyrics. We recorded in LA. I was with Capitol at the time, and all of the heavy cats were at the date. Of course, it was a big band date, 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 reeds, piano, bass, drums, percussion, yada, yada, so on and so forth. And playing, because I was a drummer. I started playing drums when I was 5 years old when I saw Gene Krupa with the Benny Goodman Band at the Earl Theater in Philadelphia. So on the date was Louis Bellson.
Oh.
And the top of the tune, you know, so when I come in to sing, you gotta enjoy joy. He was playing it on a ride cymbal, ding, 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 ding. So we stopped tape after we went through one cut, and I went over to Mr. Belson and I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Belson," I said, "but I get in when I sing, the first 4 bars of the song. Can you play it on a closed hi-hat instead of on the ride cymbal? Ding, 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 ding." Yeah. He said, "Is that what you want, Bobby?" I'm telling Louis Bellson what the hell to play. But he was so cool, man. He said, "If that's what you want, Bobby, I'll play it on closed hi-hat."
Wow. So, Robbie, tell everybody who just popped on our screen.
Well, we were just talking about Philadelphia, and there's something in the water in Philadelphia because so many rock stars came out of Philadelphia, and jazz stars named John Coltrane, named Jimmy Smith, et cetera, Buddy Greco, my old boss.
Philly Joe Jones.
That's right. But there's also something that was in the high school water in Hawthorne High School in Southern California. Because this next guy went to high school there, along with the Beach Boys. And this guy, his name is Chris Montez. Welcome to the show.
All right, Chris.
Glad to be here.
Great
How you
to
doing,
see
Chris?
you.
I'm
How
glad
you
to
doing,
be.
buddy?
I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
we did a boat show and talking about. I watched Bobby do his show several times and talking about watching somebody on stage. There's a man right there, Bobby Rydell.
Wow.
Thank you, buddy.
So, Chris,
Chris,
you've had so many great hits over the years, and you've inspired so many with your music. Talk about your early years in the music business.
Well, I was just fortunate to record, and I got a record contract, and before I knew it, I was doing the Dick Clark show, and it started off from that. And then
in Philadelphia, probably, right, Chris?
Yeah, right. And then I did the Howard Theater and all the black theaters that were happening. That's where I learned watching the artists like Screaming Jay Hawkins, Drifters,
Jackie Wilson.
All these guys were wonderful, and the girls. And so sometimes they used to get me behind stage and say, "Come on, Chris, we're going to show you how to move." So it's kind of a neat, And Smokey Robinson, I became good friends with Smokey. He taught me a lot.
Unbelievable.
Chris Montez. Now, there's one thing. By the way, I would agree with that thing that Bobby and Chris both just said, is that when you rub shoulders with the geniuses of our music business, that's better than going to the best college of music, the best doctorate program. When you rub shoulders with genius, it rubs off. You learn by osmosis. Wouldn't you guys say?
Yes, definitely.
Totally, absolutely, Robbie. Yeah. Chris and I, there was a gentleman from England, and I'm sure you know who I'm speaking about, Chris, Tony Hatch.
Yes, right.
Well, Tony wrote a song for me, which became my third million-seller, song called "Forget Him." And Tony also wrote for Mr. Montez, "Call Me."
Yeah, Call Me. That's right.
What a great record that was, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. You were talking about Mr. Sinatra. Well, I've always listened. I listen to him every day on my CD player in my car, and one day when I was at A&M, a couple of musicians says, "Man, somebody just paid you a great compliment." He said, and I said, "Who was that?" And he said, "Mr. Sinatra." And I said, "You're kidding." He said, "We recorded Call Me." He says, "I want to do it a la Chris Montez feel." So that was that was a mind blower for me. And the other time,
how cool is that?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I was somewhere, and ended up being in the one who wrote Time After Time, Sammy Khan. So he says to me, come here, Chris, I want to give you something. And he opens up his desk, and there's a photo of me, and it was Time After Time, because he wrote that song Time After Time, and he wrote all the Sinatra tunes, Mr. Sinatra tunes.
Yeah, Sammy.
So
I
I was amazed.
And Chris, in 1966 was a big year for you. You had the 2 hit songs, the ballads, The More I See You and Call Me. Talk about that year for you.
It was crazy. It was amazing. Because at that time, I just got through doing a big tour with Beatles, and then I got out of the scene for a while. And then next thing, I'm recording with Herb Alpert and Call Me and The More I See You. And remember that everything was Beatles groove, everything, from all the British groups, and I was in the top 10 there, so it was a great feeling.
That's wonderful. And your relationship with Robbie, you guys have been friends over the years. Robbie, talk about Chris and your work together.
Well, let me say something about Chris. He just mentioned that he toured with the Beatles, but let me rephrase that. 1963, Chris had a massive hit called "Let's Dance."
Yes,
great record.
He toured England, and when he toured England, he didn't tour with the Beatles. The Beatles toured with him because they were his opening act for the whole tour.
Wow,
that was
That's
kind
right.
of funny,
That's
Yes.
right. That wasn't fun.
that was, and that's the first time that I've ever known what it is when people get, people approach them and start tearing at them and clothes and screaming and on. I've never had that before. That was my first time out.
I got to ask you guys, because you guys like in that era, how is it, Chris, when you're hearing about all the stuff that Bobby Rydell is doing, and then Bobby, how was it when you're hearing Chris Montez? I mean, what goes through your minds? I mean, do you listen do you buy his 45? Do you pick up? Yeah, I mean, how does that work?
Well, as far as Chris is concerned, I've loved him forever, man. I think all of his records were absolutely marvelous. He's a wonderful talent, and we became real close. I mean, we became really, really close. We do a cruise called Malt Shop Memories, and it's a cruise about with all of the 50s guys and early 60s guys. And Chris and I adored him, man. I absolutely adored him. And after the shows, we would just hang out, talk about the business, tell some jokes to one another, and we would just have a wonderful time, And right, Chris, that's what the cruise is all about,
That's right. That's right.
We meet all of our peers and we just hang out.
That's it.
Because we haven't seen them for a long time, and now all of a sudden you're on a ship for 7 days, and everybody gets together. The camaraderie is absolutely fantastic, right, Chris?
Right. It's beautiful. Yes. And hanging out with you was the best, because here, when I used to come from high school and watch the Dick Clark, I'd always see him on doing his shows, and I see him and I say, this guy's a real hip dude, real hip. He's ahead of his time, and that's how. And then I get to hang with him, so it's a thrill.
Right. Yeah. Part of this show is really to teach younger people the legacy that you guys have led, including Robbie and Ray and everything. Guys, what would you say to young people now during this pandemic that are struggling all kinds of ways, but in music, if they're aspiring musicians, what advice would you give to younger people right now? Chris?
Oh, well, I just continue practicing and believing in yourself, and just remember the Lord is in control of this earth. That's it, of life. That's it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Chris. A lot of people, ask me the same question. I say, look, I don't care what you're doing, how you're working. If you're going to work for $1, $2 a night, go out there and nurture your craft and become, and just work as much as you can, because you never know what's going to happen in this crazy business called show business. You throw enough stuff against the wall, something is going to stick. But just to go out there and work club dates, and like I said earlier, nurture your craft. Become more involved with what you're doing.
Right. And Robbie, I mean, he's a magnificent performer here. You yourself are a magnificent performer. What advice would you give younger people, Robbie?
Well, one of the things that I do tell people when I get asked that question, hey, my son wants to be in the music business, or I want to be, a lot of times one of my answers, I've got a bunch of answers I'll throw them, but I is if if you have to ask that question, then you're in the wrong business. You have to do this. It doesn't matter what people tell you. I'm going to go for it because I want to be there. And it's like Tommy Lasorda says, you got to believe. By the way, there's another Philly guy.
Yeah,
Absolutely, from Norristown.
Norristown.
From Norristown. Let me tell you. Yeah, I was doing a show in Tampa, Florida, and that's the first time that I had the opportunity to meet Joe D. Okay, but Tommy Lasorda was in the audience, and I do the show. The maitre d' says, "Bobby, Mr. Lasorda would like to meet you." I said, "No, you got that wrong. I'd like to meet Mr. Lasorda." So I walked up to him, and his daughter was there, and I said, "Mr. Lasorda, Bobby Rydell." And he stood up, he shook my hand, and he said, "I knew as soon as you opened your mouth, you were Abruzzese."
Yeah.
Because he's Abruzzese.
Yeah.
Lasorda's Abruzzese. And we go to the Italian convention in Washington, D.C. I'm telling you, I had dinner with him, and like you said, Robbie, nothing but laughs. He would have a bowl of spaghetti about this big. He said, "Do you believe what they're bringing me?" You know, hey, he would finish this bowl like this, and it wasn't full yet, you know. And then we would hang out at the hotel, and I'd sit with him, and I'd say, "Excuse me, Tom, I have to hit the men's room." And I can hear from the men's room, "Where's that Rittarelli?" That's my real
Wow.
he was absolutely precious.
He was,
Precious.
and he had, for the opening day, when he was a manager the first year in 1977,
right?
He had Frank Sinatra, Mr. Sinatra, sang the Star Spangled Banner for Tommy opening day at Dodger Stadium.
Wow.
Oh, they were very dear friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tommy and the old man were very dear friends for sure. Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been great. I mean, we have a special treat. We're gonna end the show with.
Hold up. Number one, I gotta thank Maury Bauer, because we would not have gotten Bobby Rydell here without Maury Bauer. So I gotta thank Maury.
Maury, thank you.
Maury's always the go-to guy. He knows everybody.
And there's a local entertainer here named Bobby D'Amato who does your music. Bobby Rydell, for so many years, he wants to give a shout out to you and thank you. You inspired him.
And last thing, in regards to Bye Bye Birdie, Elvis Presley was first offered the part of Birdie.
Wow.
And naturally,
He was?
yes. And naturally, it didn't work out. They couldn't negotiate it. The colonel.
Probably not.
Yeah, the colonel, et cetera, because the part was written for a Elvis type. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's why Elvis watched Bye Bye Birdie. He wanted to see how this guy did, etc.
Wow.
That's
I
right.
get it now. I get it now. And the kid
There we
who
go.
played Conrad, his name was
Right.
Jesse Pearson. Yeah.
There we go. So, Rob, you got a show after this. What's going on in your show next?
Well, I'm a Hammond organ guy, and Bobby. And by the way, Philadelphia is Mecca for Hammond organ. And I've got two of the great Hammond organ players, and the three of us are going to play some together. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Chris has been on my show. I have to get Bobby on some night.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
who are the players you're getting, Robbie?
Jim Alfredson, who's
Okay.
who's one of the great Hammond. He's from Michigan, and Brian Charette from New York City. These are two of the great jazz Hammond organ players.
Wow, wonderful.
Wow.
Well, you guys are legends. We want to thank you very much. In 1962, Let's Dance was a big hit, number 4 hit. We have a little special. We're going to take us home with it. Thank you, guys.
Chris Montez.
God bless you, Frank.
Hey, Chris, you should have been Mark in The Rifleman.
Yeah, I should have.
God bless, guys.
God bless
Let's check
you
it
guys.
out. See you next
Thank
week.
you ever so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. One of the best shows ever that we ever had.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because
Thank
of
you.
two of you.
Thank you.
God bless, guys.